What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be doing what if Turkey had an empire. Yes, this is a country that I've been wanting to do for a very long time now, and honestly, it's going to be a fun country. So I'm probably recording this the day that you're seeing it. Well, the day that's going to be posted, probably not seeing it. Honestly, guys, I have to thank you guys because the video that I did, what if alternate history, yeah, I did not expect it to do that well. The thing is, I honestly expected the video not even to surpass much. Like, honestly, like, I thought it was gonna get like 10 views, maybe 12. 83. That was so fast. Honestly, guys, like, thank you so much. But honestly, yeah. So yeah, let's get right into the video. So first things first is there isn't going to be no UN, no NATO, or nothing like that. I do have a stuffy nose, so if you hear me sniff, I'm sorry. But first things first is Turkey already has a large military, a pretty good. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to stop sniffing. Oh my gosh, a pretty good. They're just a stronger country, but they're gonna get a new president, and they are going to be a fantastic president. And he's gonna like buff the country, make everything better, and yeah, he promises to conquer land. Okay, so that's my notification sound, which I need to turn off. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave that in because big goof. 1 second, guys. So yeah, but he promised the people that he is going to reform the military, reform the economy, really just make the country a better place. I don't really know what else he could fix. Stability. He's also gonna be like trying to get allies. What else? He's also going to be trying to reconquer some foreign land, which means he's trying to reunite the Ottoman Empire. So I guess that's good. I guess you can say it's an Ottoman Empire video, but not really. Okay, so Turkey is gonna start off with Cyprus. Cyprus is technically splitting to like 3 pieces. You have Britain like right here, Northern Cyprus, and Cyprus. But we're gonna say that it's just Northern Cyprus and Cyprus, no Britain. And well, first things first, Turkey is very easily able to like push out, especially with this new president. And Cyprus falls within like a day or two, which Turkey just goes ahead and annexes. And well, Turkey's next goal is going to be to declare war on Palestine or the Gaza Strip. We're just gonna say that the war in the Middle East is not happening. But Turkey is able to make a push down here. And this war is not going to end just because they lost the Gaza Strip, but Turkey is going to make a promise to Israel not be invaded, which might be, but if Israel destroys the war, and Israel is fine with not getting the Gaza Strip in this time, I would say. But what is going to happen is Israel is going to quickly push out of Palestine, take out Palestine, and well, Israel's going to get Palestine, Turkey gets the Gaza Strip. So that's good, but guess what? Israel's got the war. Turkey is surprisingly enough going to put into Israel for a little bit, but then the USA does step in because Israel and the United States are still close allies, especially military. So Turkey is told to step down, but before they can even do that, Israel goes ahead and encircles these troops by taking out the Gaza Strip, which is going to be a very big blow to the Turkish military. And these troops are now completely encircled, and they're trying to escape out into Egypt, but Egypt is just so yeah. Turkey will react for Israel, but now Israel is Okay, so yes, they did just lose a war technically, but this is not mean the end. Instead of focusing down on the Middle East, they're going to look up north, and they're going to declare war on Georgia and I don't know it. I'm still relearning my geography again, guys. So keep these. But you're gonna have a foreign power joining this war. It's gonna be Russia, obviously. Not on the side of this, so I guess we can color this purple. I bet. Oh wait, hold up. I bet you it would be easier if I go like this, and then click purple. So yeah, the Russians, they're able to make it out to here. They do push a little farther, but the Turkish troops, they do reach it first, and they, so yeah, they do make all the land gains that they want. The Turkish government is not so fond of the Azerbaijan government, so their relationship was strained, and Azerbaijan is now just waiting for the invasion, and this whole border is like militarized, and the Turkish military is told not to stop. So what ends up happening is the Turkish military just goes ahead and pushes into Azerbaijan, which leaves Georgia feeling a little better because it doesn't mean that they're going to be taken out like fully anytime soon. But that also does mean that Turkey has to worry about Russia, because Russia is going to join the war on the side of, they're not joining the side, but they're just declaring war on Azerbaijan as well, which does mean that Russia does make a little bit more gains. And Azerbaijan and Georgia both know they're not getting out of this war with being a country. So Georgia surrenders over to Turkey, and Azerbaijan surrenders over to Turkey as well. But Russia, they are quite angry with this, so they do demand some more land from Turkey, because they're like, this was just your ally, you should not have all this land. And the government is actually trying to make peace with Russia, so they do go ahead and kind of just give in to the Russian demands. They're going to give Russia a little bit more land off this part of Azerbaijan. So this is going to actually make the Russians like Turkey a little bit more, which in the end game is going to be fantastic for Turkey. But for Russia, it might either go well if the Turkish are successful with what they want, but if they're not, then it might backfire on the Russians, because they chose the wrong side. And if they do end up becoming allies, because this really strengthened the bond of Russia and Turkey. And how Russia got away with doing these wars is quite literally just saying, so what we did here was just trying to free them from the Turkish government. But apparently people are saying that in the government of Turkey were saying that they had a phone call not that long ago saying the Russian government is going to just say this, but you didn't. That's not why we joined the war. So, yeah, Turkey has already expanded quite a bit. They have all of this land now, so all of this and all of this land, which is quite big, so I guess good for them. But another thing that's going to happen is, Iran kind of realizes this, so they decide to jump Turkey, but Turkey was kind of prepared for this, but not fully. So Iran, they are going to try to push into this zone, but the problem is, yes, they did get the head start, so the Turkish military is disorganized, but this is where the Turkish military just was, and they're still here. So you're not going to be too successful there. But out here in actually mainland Turkey, that's where you're going to be more successful. And that's exactly what happens. You are more successful. They do end up making it out here. and they make some gains, but the Turkish military finally gets organized and repositioned, and Iran does see some Russian guns. The Iranian government learns about this and says that Russia is a Turkish ally, and well, technically declares war on Russia, but they just, instead of doing that, they just like kind of declare war on Russia. So they declare them a state, they declare them a national enemy. So yeah, but eventually Turkey does slow down a little bit because it's nearing winter. But before that, Turkey is able to encircle some troops and take them out, and it is now winter. But up north here, Turkey's gonna keep these gains going. Not gonna keep the area that they just gained all in. Let Iran keep them all winter. They eventually do reach the Iran border, which is really good because yeah, they just reached it. I don't like how flat this is. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. There we go. Looks better. Okay. What else? Yeah. So winter ends. Really, the only thing that changed is Turkey pushing Iran a little bit more out, like right over to here. Also up here, and it comes down like this. So yeah. And there we go. Eventually, more troops, since it is now summer, the troops are just told to fall back into Iran, which is not going to go well. But Turkey now makes some gains into Iran, even though they were estimated to lose this war by the Iranian military officials. And all of the officials were just found dead in Iran. So, yeah, they were supposed to win this war by next year, Christmas. So, only like a year of fighting. But around this time, they were supposed to have fully taken all of this stuff back, and have reached the Black Sea, have reached out to here. But they didn't, because it was so smart military decisions by the government, which bless me. Oh, sorry guys. But Turkey, they do keep on pushing through, and they make very little gains until, not very little, sorry guys. They make some gains until Iran is finally able to put a hold to it and even push them back a little bit. And eventually it does just become a stalemate until Russia does go ahead and decide to declare war on them with a surprise naval invasion closer to the capital and threatening to encircle all the troops up north holding off Turkey. So, yeah. But that's not just it. So Iran, they move around a lot of troops just to reorganize. So Turkey is able to push out a little more, almost reaching Russia. But Russia, to pull some more troops off of the Turkish border and theirs, they go ahead and somehow make a successful, even more successful than their first naval invasion on this part of the coastal line. So now the Russian naval invasion and the Turkish front line meet up, and they do end up pushing out, but not too much. So they only push out a little bit, but they see a pocket and they're going to take this chance to take out this pocket. So they're going to start going for an encirclement, but to distract the troops, they're also going to push in here, and but they're successfully able to take off this encirclement, and hopefully, and they are starting to try to make another one, and they are just able to make it, and they slowly start to move in on it until they just eventually surrender. So Iran is not looking too good, but something that does go good for Iran is this naval invasion is kind of just isolated, and they were just kind of a distraction. They're not even really fighting, but Iran also is able to push back a little bit on this front line just because there is still support for the Iranian military. But until Turkey does just decide to make another naval invasion, taking out the capital and all, and meeting up with the Russian naval invasion as well. And this is not good because there is, for one, the capital's gone. And for two, you're now also going to get all of this land encircled, and that also has a lot of troops. So at this point, the Iranian military no longer has support by the government or the people. So everyone just stops sending them support. Even the government stops, so the whole country just starts surrendering pretty quickly, until like you can start to realize that there's just gonna be people fighting the Turkish, so it's gonna be guerrilla warfare. But the Turkish, they are also able to move quickly through here. Same with the Russians, because they just shoot whoever shoots at them. So it does show a little bit of fear in the Iranian people. Yes, they do make a shootout, and surprisingly, like, actually, there was something that got a lot of people angry with the Turkish and the Russians. They walked into a school, like the military, with open arms. They were like, "We're here, and we're here to save you." And a kid that was planning to do a bad thing to that school that day walks up to a military person and shoots him. And well, that's not good. And guess what happens? That kid gets offed. Like, he gets off. And well, that gets a lot of people angry, and Iran does with that finally decides to surrender because it shows that Turkey has no chill. So two things are gonna be happening is Turkey's going to be making this big chunk of land right here, all a part of all a puppet. Well, this part of Iran is going to be part of Turkey. Well, Russia does still want some land, so they're going to steal it from this side where they had like the most support and they were fighting the most. So they are now technically considered a Turkish ally. Turkey and them do not consider themselves allies. They more so just consider them like friendly, but like they're not allies yet. Keyword yet. So the Turkish, they don't really know what to do with the rest of this because they know if they just let them go, then they're going to like probably start up a whole nother like they're just gonna start trying to repel against the Turkish. So the Turkey people, they start protesting and they start saying, "Here, do this. Just split up the country into multiple pieces. You don't even have to control them. You're just gonna say they cannot unite. You can make them pay you. You can literally make them pay you war reparations, every single country, for this war." And it is technically the Iranian people's fault. Yes, it is. But Turkey decides to, well, they did draw these borders, but bless me, guys, sorry. Oh my gosh. My nose. So iffy. But yeah. So what ends up happening is Turkey does decide to keep this land under a puppet and unite it with this puppet, just so Turkey does have a way to get to this puppet and get all that oil. Because I'm pretty sure the main oil fields are down here in this area where this puppet is. That's why I did end up giving Turkey this puppet. But Russia, they're also like, "Hey, at least let me get a puppet." They're like, "Really? You want a puppet?" And they're like, "Yeah, we do." So Russia ends up taking this, and you could probably see why Russia's trying to take this, just so they can annex it. But yeah, so they end up making it look like this. coming out like this. So yeah, it's gonna be split up into multiple pieces. Not all controlled by Turkey. Maybe a couple might end up being controlled by Turkey, but not much. Probably not even any. And this middle one's probably gonna end up being the poorest, or maybe it might end up being successful. But who knows? I don't. Okay, so now, but these countries, they do need the colors, because just to signify that they've been broken up and they are not one country even under the same government. Like, they are not close to being under the same government. That is a Russian puppet, I just realized that. We'll put that right there. I'll put green right there. We'll use red, honestly. Red's not that big a deal. We'll put pink right there. That is not pink, that's more pink. And we'll put gray right here. So yeah, these are all the countries. We're gonna use Russia as a dark red, I guess. We'll just make it dark red to signify that they're pretty much allies. So this is all Russia's territory now. Good, I guess. But yeah. So the Turkish, they do, all of these are technically their puppets, but not really. The closest one that they have ties with is actually the red country one, and the orange and gray one. The one that they have the worst ties with, like, obviously, like, the government doesn't hate them, but it's just that they don't like them as much as their brothers. And this is now called a new type of warfare, and it's called split up war. So it's called what happens is if you declare war on someone, well, if they declare war on you, you technically have the right to split them up into multiple countries. And what ended up happening is the new rule to this war, well, type of peace treaty, is you can only do that if you can only do that if the people declare war on you. So yeah, that terrifies everyone a little bit. So a new alliance does decide to start up. Saudi Arabia and, like, pretty much most of the southern Middle East decides to start this. No, they don't join. A country that was very quick to join was Israel, because they know that they're close to getting jumped. I don't even know how long I've been recording for. 22 minutes, okay. That's about time. So, yeah. That's not the greatest for Turkey, but Turkey, they are going to make a quick little side invasion into a good old country, Greece, Bulgaria, what is it called again? Hold up, I'm blanking. Hold up one second, guys. Let me just search this up. Guys, I'm searching this up. No. Okay, hold up. 1 second, guys. I am trying to find this. Okay. You guys know. You guys will know when I show you. They declare war on this country. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I used to know all the countries in Europe, but I've forgotten like 3 or 4. And Albania. So, yeah, good, I guess. But just to make it easier, we're just gonna say Turkey land decides a little bit at this point. And with this new fear, all of these countries do get fully annexed. Sadly, not sadly, but like they are now all under Turkish control. Surprisingly, Greece did not have really anything to say about this, because their president was dead in the first 15 days of this war. But what really happened was the Turkish, they did some war crimes where they just bombed every single politician house. They also bombed a lot of, let's just say, schools. I don't really know what else. they sent a demand over to a couple countries. They demanded this part of. They just demanded like these two countries, and well, these two say yes, like Serbia and North Macedonia. I think I want to say it is. No. Macedonia. Wait, okay. Ah, shoot, there's another country that I forgot. Okay. Well, they also accepted, but now they're just a puppet. So, good, I guess. But Serbia and most of the rest of the countries bordering Turkey in Europe just end up joining the Blue Alliance just to save themselves. Another person to join this is Ukraine. So now Turkey's starting to realize that more and more of the Middle East, Africa maybe even, are going to join this because, for example, Libya just joined this. And, well, now they're like, oh, no. So, eventually, Turkey does make a very, very big, bold move, and they declare war on all of these countries. And, well, the Turkish military does do really good in Syria, especially with the new government, able to very quickly push through. Same with Iraq. Pretty sure they might not have taken the capital because the capital's like right here of Iraq. I'm pretty sure, but they're saying that they have mass weapons of destruction. So you gotta believe them. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Making a joke about Bush. Okay, but next things that Turkey does is they push quickly into Iraq while phones are blowing up in Libya. I'm kidding. But no. They do keep on pushing out into Iraq, and Iraq is pretty much going to surrender in like 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. And look at that, they surrendered. So did Syria and Libya. Georgia, they did get backed up quite hard, but they did put up a decent fight. Eventually gave up, though. Next country, Egypt. Egypt is going to put up a very good fight for the first 3 days, and then they are able to just push through. And this is where the blue team's like, okay, we're going to join this war. But the blue team's also like, okay, we're not going to join this war. Because guess who joins the Turkish alliance? One country, China. China's just like, yeah, we're in this now. And Turkey didn't even tell them to ask them to join. They just decided. But Egypt surrenders in the first 17 days because of one reason. They realize that they are not going to win against Turkey, especially with the support of China coming. So, the peace treaty looks something like this. Turkey just annexes all of this, except for like maybe one country, and that is Iraq. Iraq is not able to be fully annexed. So, yay, I guess. But don't worry, they're not done being broken up. And if I told you this was Turkey, you'd probably not believe me. You'd be like, nah, that is not Turkey. That is like nowhere close to being Turkey. And I'd be like, no, it's Turkey. It's Turkey, alright. But Turkey does give a little bit more land to their actual Iran puppet. And while the rest of that just immediately joins the side of the blue team. But they are like very heavily in favor of the blue team because they just lost a war and they're scared and they have like no land left. But Egypt is going to be getting the lightest peace treaty since they did technically just surrender. So Yay? Maybe? No, not really, but yay. And well, since China did back up Turkey, um, they will there will be no getting jumped. Um, but this whole part of Egypt does go to go to Turkey, which the blue team and the blue team and the red team are both like, maybe we shouldn't fight. But Turkey, they do something bad. They just do technically break it up into multiple pieces, but it's just to weaken them. And these aren't actually really recognized by a lot of countries. And it's really just the southern parts of it. And yeah, that's really it. So that's all they really lost. So these are technically own countries, so they do need their own color. And you could technically say that this is a new country, so we'll just throw this in. So yeah, there we go. So now this is what it looks like. All these countries are stopped. Like every single one that was made by Turkey has now been stopped by Turkey to join the Blue Alliance. So, but now at this point, both alliances are scared to go to war with each other. The blue team a little bit more, but the red team knows that they would end up losing this war. So, this is going to be the Turkish Empire. But I can see in the following years, a war does end up breaking out between the two alliances, with Russia and Ukraine. Russia moving in on Ukraine probably quicker than they did capturing Kiev and most of the country, going into Romania, with Turkey also pushing into Romania, and really the rest of the Blue Alliance, with China's support getting there, and Saudi Arabia slowly getting pushed in on, and same with the rest. And Libya would be taken out in days. So yeah, that is really my predicament. I feel like the blue team would end up losing the war, but the red team just doesn't believe in themselves. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye. Oh, that voice crack.